Abigail, and welcome to my channel about everything having to do with books. So, I don't know about you, but it is really hard for me to get rid of my books, even when I obviously have way too many. But recently I cleared out my bookshelf and found several books that I'm going to be getting rid of. And so for my video today, I'm going to be showing you all the books that I've decided to get rid of and why, and there are several different reasons why I wanted to get rid of these particular books. And then I'm going to take those books to Goodwill and also probably buy a few or a lot of books because they're really cheap at Goodwill. And oftentimes you find a lot of like gems that you never would have picked up on your own but just found it because it looked interesting. So in this video I'm going to be telling you all of the books that I'm donating and then show you all of the books that I bought. So the first books that we have are all in a similar category, and it begins with The Once and Future King by T.H. White. And the only reason I am getting rid of this is because I recently bought a much nicer copy than the one that I have. You can see this one is kind of falling apart, but it's still readable. So even though I want the nicer copy, I want to donate it so someone can read it and enjoy it as much as I did. And then we have Hamlet in Shakespeare Made Easy, and that's like the modern English version of a Shakespeare play side by side with the actual original text. And this is like the same situation as the other one. I have a bunch of different like Shakespeare translations in like a different brand, and this one I have from school, I believe, and it's in a different brand than all of my other ones, so it doesn't really fit in. And I have a Hamlet one in the original brand, so I'm just gonna donate this one so someone else can use it. And then I have books 4 and 5 of the Ranger's Apprentice series, and this is one of my favorite series, so you might be like, why are you giving that away? It's because I ordered these two books online and accidentally bought them in the wrong edition, and so they didn't fit in with all the other books that I had on my shelf, and I finally got around to buying books 4 and 5 in the right edition so I can donate these other two. And the last one's the exact same situation, Princess Academy by Shannon Hale. This is an incredible book. If you haven't read it, you should definitely read it. But again, I bought the second two books in the series in a different edition from the first one and finally managed to buy the first one in the right one. So hopefully someone will find this at Goodwill and love it as much as I did. And next we have a bunch more books that I'm going to be donating. And the first one we have here is Texas Christmas Twins by Deb Kastner. Honestly, I don't remember where I got this, and I don't remember why I got this, because this is not the type of book I would normally read at all. It was basically like a Hallmark movie in book form, and I mean it was okay, I enjoyed it, but I don't think I was the target audience for it, so hopefully someone will enjoy it. And then we have The Little Princesses by Marianne Crawford, which is a factual story about the Britain royal family written by their governess. This was an interesting story, but it, in my opinion, wasn't written very well. I was kind of bored reading it. Hopefully there will be someone who finds it that absolutely loves it. And this one is also kind of falling apart too. And then we have Henry VIII, I believe. Yeah, Henry VIII and His Six Wives by Maureen Peters. This was given to me, I believe, and I read it and it was interesting, but I don't think I'm ever going to read it again. And then we have My 100 Adventures by Polly Horvath, and this was the last book I read in 2021, so I kind of rushed through it because I really wanted to get through with all of those books, and it was okay. I mean, I think I gave it 2 stars because, I mean, I didn't hate it, but I also didn't really find much that I liked about it, so I don't know. And then we have Wild Girl by Patricia Riley Jiff, I believe. Sorry if I'm butchering that name, but this is a book that, once again, I don't think I was really in the target audience for, and hopefully there's like a 10-year-old girl somewhere who will enjoy this a lot more than I did. Then we have Time of Storm, which is a factual story of a Jewish Christian woman in wartime Hungary. And this one was interesting, like some of the other ones I mentioned, but it wasn't really like captivating. I mean, I read it, I liked it, it was interesting, but I wasn't like on the edge of my seat. So I don't think I'm ever going to read it again. Oh, and then we have this book, Jungle of Bones by Ben Mickelson. I found this at one of those like take a free book things that you see in front of houses, and it sounded interesting. But this book, let me tell you, has the most unlikable protagonist I have ever read, ever. I hate him so much. He made like a really interesting premise super hard to read, and that's why I didn't like this book, because like it was a really great, exciting story, but the protagonist drove me insane. Then we have The Winter Room by Gary Paulson, and honestly, I can't tell you one plot point from this book at all. That's how unmemorable it was for me, so that's why I'm donating it, because I'm probably never going to read it again. And lastly, we have The Alchemist, which I know is a book that like a lot of people like, but it just didn't really strike me. It reminded me kind of one of those like really long commercials about like following your dreams that turns out to be like a commercial for like a car or an iced tea company or something like that. It felt like it was going somewhere the whole time, but didn't ever really get there for me. And I know a lot of people really love this book, but it just didn't really hit me, so I will be donating that one. And there we have it. There we have all the books that I'm going to be donating to Goodwill on this round. Okay, so now we have the books that I bought. And first off, we have Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell, which I have not read, and I wanted to read because my sister just read it and she really enjoyed it, so I've been wanting to read this for a while, and I'm glad I found a cheap copy of it. And so next we have the Artemis Fowl Files, which I believe is like a guide to the Artemis Fowl series, which is a series that I really want to read. So either I'll read this and then read the series and then read this book when I'm done, but I also have a cousin who loves the Artemis Fowl series, so if I don't read that in like a timely manner, maybe I will give this to him. And then we have The 10th City by Patrick Carman, which is the third book in a series that I wanted to read, and I actually found the second book at Goodwill a few months ago, which is really cool. And then we have a Dear America book, My Heart is on the Ground, and I've read every Dear America book, but this is one that I don't believe I own, so I was super excited to find that. And then we have Ridley Pearson, Steel Trap, The Academy, and I have read a couple books by Ridley Pearson. I really like this author's writing, and this book just seemed really interesting, so I picked it up. And now we have Enchanted by Alethea Condis, and this is like a, I know really little about it, but I know it's on my to-read list, and it's like a fairy tale spin-off series, which I've been wanting to read, so I'm glad I found that. Then we have Uglies by Scott Westerfield, which is a dystopian series I've heard a lot about and really want to read, so I'm glad that I found the first book at Goodwill. We have The Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickens. If you've watched my classic videos that I love, you see that I really like Charles Dickens' writings, and this is something that one of his books that I haven't read, so I was super excited to see that, and so I can check it out. And lastly, we have this writing guide here, which whenever I see like a writing guide, I like to check it out. So it has like a bunch of writing tips and stuff, and I'm probably not gonna like read this like I would read a novel, but it will definitely be useful for like writing tips and everything. So here we have all the books that I got at Goodwill. Thank you so much for watching this video. I can't wait to read all of these books that I bought at Goodwill, and maybe some of them I'll even write a review for on this channel. So stay tuned for my next video that will be coming out next week. I know I've had a couple of weeks where I've skipped a video, but I'll try really hard to get one out next Wednesday. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and please tell me in the comments what maybe a book that you found at Goodwill or another used bookstore that you ended up. And for our quote, we have, "A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies." George R.R. Martin.